I quite liked The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen upon seeing it in the theater. I was genuinely shocked to see nearly every review and Sean Connery's career disagree with me resoundingly. I didn't realize it was widely hated. It's a good movie. Person male. Upvoting because I truly hated this movie. Bold choice. I really enjoyed The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and found all the literary references amusing. Still don't really understand why it's panned. Though I never read the comics, so maybe in comparison it's a letdown. Also, the first two acts of The Avengers 2012 is almost beat for beat the same. As a 13-year-old boy, I thought it was awesome. I get why people think it's trash, but I still find it enjoyable. It was part of that wave of campy blockbusters, for example, The Mummy, Van Helsing, so I didn't mind. It was fun. The first two volumes of the comic are incredible. The movie was moronic. They had a car chase through Venice, Italy for duck's sake. It's an enjoyable movie. Anyone can enjoy anything. It was so bad Sean Connery left acting. They mangled a perfectly good comic book. My little brother and I loved this movie as wee little kids. I remember one summer our parents dragged us around on a trip to visit relatives, and every hotel we stayed in had the movie playing on late-night television, so my brother and I would stay up late and watch it all over again. By the end of the summer, we could quote the whole movie by heart. So I like this answer a lot. Pacific Rim. Giant robots fighting giant monsters. What's not to love? The sequel was stick though. Who doesn't like Pacific Rim? I need names and addresses. This movie is awesome. Terrible film, great movie. If my 10-year-old self could have come up with a pitch for a film, it would have been Pacific Rim. Giant robots fighting giant dinosaurs because who cares, let them fight. Love it. I'm pretty sure that movie was just Guillermo del Toro's adaptation of some kids playing with toy robots and dinosaurs. Love it too, but what is the difference between a film and a movie? I thought they were interchangeable words. I love Pacific Rim and the lore around it. I do not love Charlie Hunnam though. His speech and personality are very monotone. He was more robotic than the robots. Did you watch the Pacific Rim the Black? It's pretty nice. Everybody loved that film. What? Pacific Rim is a hugely popular film. Sadly, a big portion of the human race doesn't like Pacific Rim. They are wrong. I honestly found that show to be way too bleak. There's only so much I can watch of three kids who all hate each other running around in a giant robot while everyone around them dies horribly. Iron Man 2 because of Tony realizing his dad loved him after all and that he was his greatest gift, and also because I liked Ivan Vanko as a villain. I liked the suitcase, sweet lol. I was going to say this. Based on Reddit, you'd think this was a garbage movie. To me it's about as good as the first Iron Man movie. Vanko and Hammer are fun villains, there's funny scenes where the humor actually lands, there's great action, nice character development for Stark, nice intro for Black Widow. I don't know why it gets the hate it does. I definitely put it above IM3. It's my favorite Iron Man movie. I don't think it is the best Iron Man movie, but it's definitely the most Tony Stark movie. Plus, Black Widow taking out a bunch of bad guys while Happy's trying to deal with one. Line 2. The fact that people still put Iron Man 2 and 3 at the bottom of their MCU ranking perplexes me. I loved it for Sam Rockwell and his need to dance. Bird. I remember the dissent at the time was that it was less of an Iron Man sequel and more of an ad for future Avengers projects. A lot of the negativity around it was from people used to comic book movies being isolated, self-contained stories, and the interconnectivity we are used to now was brand new. I think a lot of the Iron Man 2 haters from its release would no longer have this problem with it. Evolution. One of the funniest movies of my generation. There's always time for lubricant. I think we've established that caw and tookie don't work. Hilarious movie. What flavor? It doesn't matter. It's from my ass. Can I have some ice cream? Take the leg. Take the leg. They gave the giant starfish a shampoo enema. How the hell is that not funny? I remember it being semi-entertaining when it came out. Watched it recently with my son and I was howling throughout. David Duchovny and Orlando Jones have amazing chemistry. His little jiggle dance. Put some funk in it. I didn't know people hated that movie. There are people who don't like this movie. It's amazing. I saw this in cinemas when I was way too young and I remember being utterly terrified of the butthole scene near the end, like had to leave the theater in tears levels of scared. Godzilla 1998. Is that the one where Godzilla lays eggs in MSG? That one was dope. I can hear that rocking intro theme now. Dude, does anyone remember the ducking awesome cartoon show that followed up after? Well, I'll be damned. I know what I'm rewatching while recovering from surgery today. I love this movie. Not seen the later ones, but always loved the 1998 one. Second best Matthew Broderick role behind Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Same. I'll admit it's a good movie on its own. It's just that Godzilla 98 is pretty different of being an actual Godzilla, though. It's a fun movie on its own, but it is too different to be an actual Godzilla film design-wise in my opinion. Still good film though, to be honest. Also, that French guy nailing the one role he plays every movie he's in. That's a lot of fish. It's Gajira, you moron. It's a quote, don't get mad. I did quite like this movie. My friend said it was garbage, but you know what soundtrack we listened to all the time. Kung Pao. My friends walked out of this one in the cinema while I was on the ground trying to not vomit from laughing so hard. First, a joke. What do you get when you cross an owl with a bungee cord? My ass. Naya haha. Aha. over 20 years later, and sometimes I'll still mumble the Taco Bell, product placement with Taco Bell, Incarito, Nacho Burrito, song to myself. I'm the chosen one, outside the walls. Your mouth tricks won't work on me ventriloquists. That's a lot of nuts. Wee. Tighter, tighter. Bernie. It's amazing. One of my fave movies of all time. That'll be $4, baby. You want fries with that? This one has been a roller coaster for me. When it came out when I was 14-ish, I thought it looked terrible. Then, a year or two later, I saw it and loved it, watching it over and over. Then, I watched it in my late 20s and did not enjoy it. But now, whenever I see memes/references to it, I feel like a immediate is funny. Drop Dead Fred. This is my favorite movie. I refer to my nephew as Snotface on the regular. I always wondered how the parents of the child who had go to hell Harry as an imaginary friend felt. Mom, here's kid talking, sweetie. Who are you talking to? Kid, go to hell Harry. Did people not like this movie? Rest in peace, Rick Mayall. Hated this movie. It's so good. Holds a purple dress. This will look good at the wine gala. Fred pops in, yeah, looks like a big bruise. This is for ruining the one stoop a month I get while Murray's wife is out of town. I love this movie and show it to anyone who hasn't seen it/heard of it. Also, I don't have many friends, but I swear that isn't why. That's a good movie, weird, but good. Howard the Duck. The real beginning of the MCU series. This was my first time ever seeing tits. Duck tits. Those duck tits looked fake as duck, rubber duckies at best. That plastic surgeon must be a quack. I sure hope it didn't go on her bill. This was mine as well. Really enjoy this movie. A lot of people seemed to hate. Once you go duck, you don't go back. Plural. Love it. And I love that movie. You just got to see it as one of the good bad movies, like Convoy. I watched this to death as a kid. Recently watched it as an adult. Still love it. Duck breasts okay in PG movie. Aside from the insinuated bestiality, it's a great movie. Multiverse of Madness. Oh, I'm sorry. Was the movie about a magician traveling through the multiverse directed by Sam Raimi not as tight of a narrative as you wanted? You go to the butcher looking for vegan options as well. My issue with it was actually in the other direction. I felt it didn't go far enough. There wasn't enough multiverse or madness by my reckoning. Probably my own fault. I went into thinking it would be more unhinged than would have been realistic. My problem with Multiverse of Madness is the movie title. I was really hoping that this would be the multiverse movie of the MCU. Instead, we only got to see a few universes and variants. I would have loved to see another Iron Man, another Hulk, another Thor, etc. It's not the end of the multiverse saga, so I still have some hope, but the movie just did not meet my expectations. That being said, I still enjoyed the movie and it's among the better Phase 4 movies. Doctor Strange and the two-universe field trip. It was just kinda disappointing. It felt like there was no real progression of either the story or the characters. Most of the second act feels like it didn't change a lot. Also, it was advertised by YouTubers that it would be a darker, more horror-like movie, but it really wasn't, aside from one jump scare. Yeah, this was my general feeling too. I didn't hate what was there, but wished there was more. I feel like it's hard for even good directors like Sam Raimi to do something really out there and interesting within the Marvel formula. The only guy who seems able to do it semi-consistently is James Gunn. I feel like the biggest problem is that it takes a lot of time to properly set up and explore a multiverse, because you need to either limit your characters and environments as EO did, make very creative and efficient use of exposition and visuals as EO and the Spider-Verse movies did, or take a lot of time to properly set up multiple worlds, characters, variants, etc., and Marvel has done a mediocre job at best so far. Visually one of the more interesting McCoo movies for sure. Scarlet Witch killing the Illuminati was pretty dark. And the movie ends with a zombie Strange wearing a cloak of demons. I don't know how horror you accepted an MCU movie to get, but I think your expectations were a bit unrealistic. I'm already preparing myself for Blade being way less dark than it should be. I really liked it. I didn't realize it was hated. Yeah, the multiverse stuff was very bland. There was so much more that they could have done. It felt like Phase 1 level Marvel cameos. I love that movie, but I hate that dumbass Fantastic Four scene. Team 2010. I liked that perfectly good action flick with a great cast. Wait, people didn't like that one? 1,000 times this. Everyone was on point in that movie. I have no clue how it wasn't a hit. Everyone was coming off the biggest hits of their careers. I saw that movie so many times in the theater. I loved it. Large swaths of that movie truly suck, but man do I love the scene where they pilot the tank through the skies. I wish more of the movie was like that. Are they trying to shoot down the other drone? No, they are trying to fly that tank. This movie just reminds me of the time in high school that my husband was talking to my sister and me about demons, and we were asking him to stop because we were scared, and he told us there was a demon in the Bible named Baracus. The beginning is my favorite. Their paths crossing in Mexico leading up to the chopper getting shot down by the F-22. Then Hannibal says his I love it when a plan comes together. Perfect movie intro. This is Shakespeare compared to Fast and Furious. It's a fun popcorn movie. A little implausible but entertaining. Super Mario 1992. It's just a dark sci-fi movie with Mario references, and I loved it as a kid,